There are feuds in American politics. There are rivalries, vendettas, and public spats that flare up and die down within a news cycle. And then there is whatever this is. Because what has unfolded between Donald Trump and Taylor Swift over the past 13 years is not a feud. A feud requires two sides. This is something entirely different. This is one man who cannot stop, cannot quit, cannot let it go, and a woman who just keeps winning while he rages. Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because the receipts we are about to go through are extraordinary, and you are going to want to see every single one of them. It did not start as a rivalry. That is the part that makes it so fascinating in hindsight. On August 1st, 2012, Donald Trump logged onto Twitter and wrote to a young country singer he clearly admired. He thanked Taylor Swift for a photo, called her fantastic, and went about his day. There was warmth in the message, genuine appreciation. He was, by any reasonable reading of that post, a Taylor Swift fan. That was the first chapter. And like a lot of first chapters, it looks completely different once you know how the story ends. The problem was not Taylor Swift. The problem was that she grew up. She built a platform of extraordinary size. And then, when the moment came, she decided to use it. Trump could not hang. The first real crack appeared in 2018. Swift stepped into the political arena for the first time, endorsing Democratic candidates in the Tennessee midterms. She urged her followers to vote against Republican Marsha Blackburn, a woman she would later describe in her own documentary as Trump in a wig. Trump's response was immediate, and it was quantified. He told reporters he now liked Taylor Swift's music about 25% less. 25%. He had sat with that number. He had arrived at a precise figure. The President of the United States had done the internal math on exactly how much less he liked a pop star based on her voter registration activism, and he had shared it with the press as though it were a policy position. The audience at home did not know whether to laugh or be genuinely concerned, because this was not a casual remark from someone caught off guard. He had thought about it, he had measured it, and he had delivered it with the confidence of a man who believed the number made him sound reasonable. That was just the warm-up. By 2020, Swift was done with restraint. She called Trump out directly, publicly, and by name. She wrote that his ineffective leadership had gravely worsened the crisis the country was facing, and that he was actively working to undermine the right to vote safely. She accused him of stoking white supremacy throughout his presidency and of attempting to dismantle the Postal Service during a pandemic specifically to suppress mail-in voting. This was not a vague celebrity gesture. This was a woman with 280 million Instagram followers naming specific policy actions and calling out the President of the United States by name for each one of them. The political establishment barely processed it because the news cycle moved so fast. But Swift had crossed a line that was not accidental. She had decided that her platform was too large and the stakes too high for carefully worded neutrality. Trump noticed. He always notices. For a few years, the tension simmered without a defining incident. And then 2024 arrived, and everything went completely unhinged. Trump, apparently hoping to absorb some of the cultural energy surrounding Swift's global dominance at the peak of the Eras Tour, made a move that backfired so completely it is still hard to process. He reposted an AI-generated image of Taylor Swift dressed in an Uncle Sam outfit, framed as though she were endorsing his presidential campaign. He captioned the post with two words, "I accept." He accepted the fake endorsement of a woman who had been publicly, explicitly, and repeatedly against him for 6 years running. He posted it. He captioned it. He let it go live. And then when reporters asked about it, he said he had not generated the images himself. He said other people made them. He said AI is always very dangerous in that way. AI is dangerous. The man who spread AI-generated fake endorsements of a celebrity who despised him was now warning the public about the dangers of AI. Swift's response was precise, calm, and devastating. She addressed the deep fakes directly in a statement that has since become a kind of template for how to handle this kind of attack without raising your voice. She wrote that she had recently learned that AI images of her falsely endorsing Donald Trump had been posted to his site. She said it had conjured her deepest fears about misinformation. And she said the simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. Then she endorsed Kamala Harris. In one Instagram post, she neutralized the fake images, made her endorsement official, laid out her specific reasons clearly, called out J.D. Vance's childless cat lady insult by signing off with exactly those words, and closed with a mic drop that required no music and no stage, no yelling, no threats, no Fox News appearance, just facts. and a signature. That is the Taylor Swift political playbook. And Trump had no answer for it. His response the next morning was predictable. He called into Fox and Friends and declared he was no longer a fan. He said she would probably pay a price for this in the marketplace. He said it with confidence. He said it with finality. Let us check on how that prediction aged. The Eras Tour became the first music tour in history to cross $2 billion in revenue. Taylor Swift's personal net worth is estimated at around $1.6 billion. The marketplace has delivered its verdict. What the marketplace said is that Taylor Swift is doing just fine. But Trump was not done. He was nowhere close to done. A few days after the Harris endorsement, he escalated in a way that removed any remaining pretense of casual indifference. He opened Truth Social. He typed 4 words. He typed them in all capital letters. I hate Taylor Swift, the sitting president of the United States, the man with his finger on the nuclear button, the man currently blockading the Strait of Hormuz. He logged on, typed that out in all caps, hit post, and went to bed feeling like he had accomplished something. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift was on stage somewhere selling out a stadium. She did not respond, not with a post, not with a statement, not with a single word. She was too busy being worth $1.6 billion to acknowledge that the most powerful man in the world had just typed a 4-word tantrum about her into his phone. Then came the Super Bowl. In February 2025, Trump became the first sitting president in American history to attend a Super Bowl. He was at Super Bowl LX. Taylor Swift was there to watch Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs. And rather than absorbing that historic moment as a president, rather than using the occasion of the most watched television event in American history to project any kind of dignity or statesmanship, Trump posted on Truth Social before the game even ended. The only one who had a tougher night than the Kansas City Chiefs, he wrote, was Taylor Swift. She got booed out of the stadium. MAGA is very unforgiving. There are several problems with this statement. The Chiefs lost, which meant Kelce's night was difficult. That part was accurate. But Taylor Swift was not booed out of the stadium. She was not booed in any meaningful sense. Multiple outlets confirmed it. Rolling Stone confirmed it. There were scattered boos when she appeared on the Jumbotron, the kind of ambient crowd noise that happens at any sporting event when a famous person associated with one team appears on screen during a championship. She laughed it off because she has $1.6 billion and a fiancé and a world tour, and she genuinely does not have time for this. Trump kept going. He upgraded the attack. He posted that Swift had become, in his words, no longer hot. He said he had personally caused this. He took direct personal responsibility for what he described as her diminished hotness. He wrote it down, he posted it, he moved on with his day. She was engaged to Travis Kelce and planning a wedding. Sources close to Kelce said he was furious, not the polite, managed kind of furious, the real kind. The kind that makes a man who typically stays out of politics decide that something personal has been crossed. He thinks Trump crossed a line, and that matters because Travis Kelce is not a political figure. He is not someone who looks for these moments. But when you come after someone he loves that directly, that repeatedly, and that publicly, the response stops being about politics and becomes something more immediate than that. Step back from the individual moments, and what you see is not a feud. What you see is a pattern of a man using the instruments of the most powerful office in the world to wage a personal campaign against a woman who responded to him once, then twice, then clearly and permanently, and then simply refused to keep engaging. Trump can survive political opposition. He has proven that across decades. What he clearly cannot survive with any grace is being ignored by someone he cannot stop thinking about. Every escalation, every all-caps post, every percentage point of diminished musical appreciation, every declaration about hotness and marketplace punishment, every Super Bowl night post, every single one of them carries the same visible signature underneath the aggression. She is not paying attention, and he cannot stand it. That asymmetry is not a side detail. It is the entire story. Because the power in this situation has never moved from where it started. One side has a $2 billion tour, $1.6 billion in net worth, 280 million followers, a fiancé, and complete indifference to the whole performance. The other side has the nuclear codes and a typing habit. And that difference is exactly why this keeps going, and exactly why it keeps going the same way every single time. If this whole timeline left your jaw on the floor, hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Because the next chapter of this story is already being written, and based on everything we have covered today, you already know how it is going to end.